Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today in beautiful Colorado, surrounded by some incredible scenery outside of Denver on the Where's Shmee US Edition Tour. Today though, swapping supercars for a super truck, the RAM TRX, the T-Rex with the engine from a Hellcat with over 700 horsepower. Today we're going to take a look at this car, go through some of the details, some amazing little Easter eggs that they've put in the T-Rex before taking it out for a drive to experience what the hype around the new T-Rex is all about. 700 horsepower in a pickup. I know already this is going to be fun. Firstly, just look at this thing up here in the right terrain for it, of course. We'll go for a drive in just a moment, but this is the ultimate version of the Ram 1500, the popular pickup truck. I did drive the 1500 Laramie before over in Europe with AEC, but this dials everything up to the max, taking the formula that Dodge are very much using at the moment, sticking the Hellcat engine into just about everything, including the pickup. This has over 700 horsepower, which makes absolutely no sense. There are a lot of Easter eggs that we can explore going through the car, but to give you some of the numbers, despite being as big and heavy as it is, this will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds. It will go to a top speed of 118 miles per hour, even with the 35-inch off-road tyres, and it will do a quarter mile in the 12s, 12.9 seconds at 108 miles an hour in this. Just look at the thing. It is mean, it is aggressive, it is raised up. You've got the enlarged scoops on the hood, on the bonnet, all of the openings at the front for the cooling, and in fact a few details about that. Because the car is so wide with these wider arches, it actually has to have additional reflectors here on the scoop so it doesn't give the impression of effectively being two separate motorcycles. On the front grille, the Ram lettering is opened up for the extra cooling in towards that 6.2 litre supercharged V8 that you have up front. But this is the ultimate off-roader. This is a press car with a big thanks to Out of Spec Reviews, who have kindly helped me have the opportunity to take it for a drive today. So it's a loaded up spec. List price MSRP is $91,500 in total, with just about every option. Let's come and take a look at the engine itself. In fact, coming through, just open this up. Performance trucks at their finest. Let's pull that catch, come round towards the front. We'll go through the interior in detail in a moment, but just inside here, if I can find the catch and give this a pull, we have the power plant, and you can't see much, it's a little bit muddy. They've been out driving it and having some fun with it. But if we lift up this and pop off this cover on the front, this is one of the quite fun Easter eggs about this. The graphic there of a T-Rex eating a Raptor. Of course, this is about 250 horsepower more than the current or even new Raptor, but a bit of a fun play there from Ram at the Ford Raptor, their sporty version of the F-150. But with all of these openings and aggressive design, it just looks like a true beast. And I can tell you from a short little drive to get up to altitude where we are at the moment, so excuse my short breath, this thing is a complete monster. But still, with all the practicality you'd expect, the 5-seat configuration, lots of room in the back, you've got a spare wheel and tyre back here, taking up a lot of space in the flatbed. Obviously this just opens up, no particular tricks around this and exactly what it can do. Just the practicality that you might hope for. One quite fun thing that I've not played with before is this. If we pull this down, you've got a little step to help climb up on in because it's quite so high, and give that a push to tuck it back in. Look at these kind of 5-inch exhaust tailpipes, one on each side. Monster, another tyre sitting underneath the back. Proper off-roading machine. So let's come through and go and get this started for a moment. It's very cold despite being a beautiful blue sky day. We're going to head off for a little drive out on the surrounding roads here. Hop on board, no step, just this guard basically to protect you on the off-road. You do have the grab handle to pull up on in, but let's press the start button. There we go. And then here we've got our drive modes. We've got all sorts of settings and things we can go through and change. We go up into sport, for example. We'll play more with this while driving. Sounds mental, doesn't it? This is very highly equipped. We've got the driving settings. We've got all of the four-wheel drive settings you might hope for as well. Lots of practicality as you'd find in any of the other Rams. We've got the carbon trim on the dashboard. Yeah, really nicely loaded. So let me get the door closed, let's get the heating running, and then let's go for a drive. Now, I haven't driven too many trucks, so this is a bit of a learning curve for me, but when in America, you have to drive the most American of pickup trucks, 700 horsepower in a Ram 1500. Right, let's go. 8-speed auto gearbox. We are in sport still, we'll play a little bit with the different driving modes, and we're going to head on out with that grumble in the background. We're actually driving today following this little electric Smart from Out of Spec Reviews, which has 80 horsepower to our 702. Nearly 10 times the power, but far less of a go-kart. That thing must weigh probably half, if not a third, of what this weighs. Anyway, when you drive along like this, it's actually surprisingly normal, surprisingly chill and comfortable and easy, and just a gentle cruise. And I do have to point out this view over to the right, by the way, the frozen lake. That is stunning, stunning scenery. What a place to be driving this. If you go into auto mode, it puts everything back into the street settings, gives you so many different bits of data and screens and displays and everything that you could possibly want to ever see in a sports car, let alone a pickup like this. It makes very little sense, and it's a massive thing. You're conscious of being stupidly high up off the ground. Obviously the sheer size, length, width, everything about this. Back into sport though, as we head downhill, foot down a bit, and even just the gentle purr of the acceleration, not even obviously going halfway through the rev range, but with a lot of supercharger whine, that 6.2 litre supercharger whine that we know so well from the Hellcat in the Charger and Challenger, but now found in the Ram pickup truck. Obviously we've got all of the off-roading modes, we've got the axle lock, we've got the four-wheel drive high and low, but you also have that TRX button to jump you straight back to the screen that we have up at the moment, where you can also go into performance, and this loads up additional datas on the performance pages where you can then see all sorts of gauges and bits of information. But this is just driving at the moment, like I said, in sport mode. We can also put the shifter into sport as well. We can manually downshift, slightly funny feel to the shift paddles on the back of the steering wheel. Go down to second gear, and you can hear a lot of the noise, but just wait until we get a slightly open stretch in front of us. Right, here we go, down into second gear. Something this big shouldn't get a move on this quickly. It just pulls away. It might not scream and shout, and we can actually open the rear window, and then we can hear a little bit more noise out of it by sliding that across. But it's just a silly, silly package. Listen to that, downshift in second. This makes absolutely no sense. Back into drive, back into auto, chill out, take it easy. And like I say, it's actually quite easy and generally comfortable and surprisingly decent drive, more than I expected, because it's so big and so silly on paper. But in the real world, it's just a gentle cruise. Obviously now going 25 miles an hour, following the speed limit. Person behind us wasn't, naughty naughty, but taking it easy. We'll get out onto some more twisty roads. This is genuinely a funky place to be driving a car like this. On some twisty canyon roads, surrounded by a bit of snow with the sunshine out. And I tell you what, this thing doesn't roll anywhere nearly as much as you expect something like this to be. Almost a little bit, well, top heavy, shall we say, given the fact that it's lifted ridiculously high up. It handles it quite well, it's fairly responsive. I mean, it's the supercharged V8 making this insane amount of power, so you would expect the power delivery to be quite pleasant, and with that noise in the background omnipresent, which is a lot of fun. I mean, I'm genuinely a surprised person right now at what this is like to drive, because on these roads, it's much more enjoyable than you would expect something like this to ever possibly be, and you can hurtle it in through some corners. Well, we've managed to catch up with Kyle in the Smart because we've been following a school bus, but on these kind of roads in something that small, tiny little go-kart style drive, probably quite a lot of fun as we have the G-forces throwing this thing through the curves. Other pickups though just look so small in comparison to this. This is so fun. Wow. That upshift on the red line, that's one of the funniest sounds. The way it snaps through the next gear. Wow, this is not what I was expecting out of this car. but I'm definitely not complaining about it. I think it's safe to say that these aren't the normal circumstances in which RAM TRXs are going to be driven. In many cases, they will be sporty utility vehicles, probably used around town, maybe for some off-roading, not necessarily the mountain twisty roads that we are experiencing today. However, Mike from Street Speed 717 has demonstrated that you can jump one pretty well if you want to as well, in quite spectacular fashion. But these views where we are here, this is just immense. Well, now we're coming up towards a bit of a dirt road, so I'm going to put this into Baja Mode on the dashboard. We've got rock, snow, all sorts of things, and Baja Mode. I'm going to take it easy just while I get a little bit comfortable with it, but I suppose this is more where the TRX is at home, on the dirtier, rough, probably very muddy, sloshy stuff that we have here. Yep, we're going to make a complete mess of this. It's going to be absolutely filthy come the end of the day, but hey, it's all fun and games, and this is, just as I was saying, a little bit more probably where these things will be at home. Make a bit of a splash down the muddy dirt track. It is very, very bright with the sun out in front of us, but I mean, this just shows how capable this car is. You can quarter-mile it faster than some normally equivalently priced sports cars, but you can also happily just cruise along some terrain like this really quite gently. I mean, for how rough the ground is, you can probably hear some of the rattles and shakes. And yeah, okay, it's a big old heavy thing, so it's not like driving on a racetrack in a sports car. This is properly wet and splashy and all sorts, but hey, that's what it's for. It's quite fun on snow because you can actually get the back to just kick around and slide ever so slightly. Then you bounce over some of this unusual terrain and you have a small feeling of, well, almost invincibility, but you have to remember you are still in a car, and braking and gravity and momentum are still actually things. But driving down here, it's remarkable how something like this does it so completely effortlessly and easily. As we get a snap out of the corner from the upshift. This is genuinely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And then we're coming out towards some roadworks. I'm not sure this is much of a road, but okay. Oh wow, this is just fun. This is just fun. Well, check this out. I think we've got some proper interesting road to take through here, and we just bounce through it like it's absolutely nothing. Wow. Absolutely nothing. That's hilarious fun. I mean, this is what something like this is for, isn't it? So we go down through the dip here and out the other side as well. Just massive ground clearance so we can point the nose down at the ground, bounce through the dips, head past the other guy. Thank you very much. And yeah, make our way continuing along the dirt road. Well, we've made it back to the normal road again, so I'm going to pop this back into sport. Oh yeah, you feel it more responsibly instantly. Obviously changing the power profile. Just sharper and more responsive all round. Crazier for the tarmac in what I can see now is an absolutely filthy truck. When we step out of this, it is going to look completely different to how we climbed on board, thanks to Kyle and the guys who had actually cleaned it up. I can only apologise to them for making a total mess of it now. Check out this view. We just came over a brow. Stunning landscape. We've gone away from the snow, and now the mountainous, jagged terrain right where this car is at home. To be honest, this is exactly where this car is for, I think. And I'm enjoying the drive in it way more than I ever would have anticipated as well. This is just one of the most incredible places to be driving. The views here are spectacular, but I want to show you a few more things inside the TRX, including the performance gauges, which do take a moment to load up the first time, but inside here you have so much information and different charts and different, you can quarter mile timer inside here, reaction timer, 8th mile, everything, your G-force charts, dyno engine data, all inside this. It's so totally unnecessary, but that's what makes it entertaining and fun, like you'd find in the Hellcat, of course. Inside here, the different driving modes, you can see how they change some of the settings as you go through them all, or you can set it up custom and configure it exactly how you'd like, but all of these are completely pre-configured. He says it doesn't seem to want to go into rock right now. Maybe it needs to be in a special setting with the four-wheel drive system, or just hit the TRX. You come back to this, go back home. You can split the display to have different apps or different things depending how you want to have them. You can swap them around. You can adjust, close the navigation screen, for example, link it all together. Lots and lots and lots and lots of different controls. Heated seats, heated steering wheels, vented seats, surround cameras, all the details, all the gadgets, all of the toys that you could possibly want. Another fun toy is the rearview mirror. I've been driving with the traditional mirror out of the rear window, but you can do that and you have a screen, which is quite fun, or flip it back to the normal rearview mirror. I just love these kind of gadgets and toys, and we've got the settings. He says that's not a touch screen, you have to press the button to go and do different things. Anyway, we'll leave that exactly as it is for the moment. I just prefer to have the normal view, but hey, you got that there should you want it. On the steering wheel, we've got our adaptive cruise control and distance settings. We've got all of the toggles to go through, a set of screens that you can have on the dashboard, trip info, you name it. There's the usual raft of systems and settings that you have inside there. You've got the RAM logo everywhere you look, all the grab handles. You know, this is a rugged truck. This is a properly rugged truck, but add some Alcantara, the Harman Kardon sound system, because this car has the fully upgraded specification. Carbon trim over towards the passenger side, the comfortable seats, loads and loads of storage space, your charging pad here, USB ports galore, different cup holders, cubbies, things that fold open, close. You've got the 2 layers of this storage bucket as well, because you can independently have that extra top shelf, which has yet another USB port in towards the back of it. All of the details, including that plaque on the top, which is quite nice as well. Supercharged 6.2 litre Hemi engine, 702 horsepower, just in case you ever forget, and your shifter. So I'm just going to actually turn it off for the moment. My seat automatically moves back, comfort access. You are instinctively looking for a step, and we've made these rails absolutely filthy. Let's have a look. How dirty is this car, he says, kind of jumping out. Oh wow. Well, that started silver. It's no longer particularly silver, but it was worth it. That was a lot of fun. This is absolutely hilarious. Made a complete and total mess of the thing. Quick look in the rear seats, where back here, again, plenty of space. We've got the rubber mats everywhere, but you can fold the seats away. Split fold in the rear, loads and loads of leg room. Same finishes up front, carbon trim, Harman Kardon speakers, seat back pockets, and then even more USB ports, and even the full mains socket as well, and ventilated and heated seats back here too, with the extra cup holders. So all in all, this has been a very entertaining drive. I don't think you could drive something like this in Europe. It's simply too big. Just no way that would work back home. But this was Dodge and Ram's response to the Ford Raptor, which now has its newest version with the 3.5 litre EcoBoost V6 making 480 horsepower. This is 702. It's not really the same category, which is why I suspect we might see a Raptor R derivative with a V8, potentially even the V8 that you find in my GT500 in the future, which would be an interesting comparison between this and that, but we'll have to see exactly what they do. For today, that's been awesome. A big thanks also goes to Kyle and the guys at Out of Spec Reviews for the opportunity to get behind the wheel of this, for setting up the drive for me today in beautiful Colorado. What a day it's been. So yeah, my thoughts on the RAM TRX, the TRX. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.